AEW news. Eric Bischoff talks to Ariel Helwani, and he just gives his thoughts on the state of AEW, and this got so many sickos melting down. We'll cover it in a bit, but yeah, Bischoff sums it up really well here.
So I just said, heck with it. It's not worth my time.
Okay. What about your take on the current state of All Elite Wrestling? What do you think? How are they doing right now?
Yeah, well, they're horrible. Come on. It's just, I've given up. You know, I used to get really frustrated with people's good opportunities. I feels like, and I know how hard.
Here we go. I was going to say the Black Helicopters Twitter
are to come by. So when you see somebody just shooting themselves in the foot day after day, week after week, in every possible way, it's frustrating for me. And I would vent that frustration. Now it's just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it is what it is. There's no hope for them.
It's always StreamYard, dude. I swear to God. It's cursed, bro.
Nothing's going to turn that company around off in anybody's head and all of a sudden realize, oh, this is how we actually get people to watch TV. They have no idea what they're doing and they're too stubborn to learn.
There's no chance for a story to turn like the way NWO turned WCW around. There's no chance of any of that.
Not there.
Why not?
Because there's nobody there that knows how to tell the story. There's nobody there that knows what a story actually is. It's like, I use this analogy.
Okay, this analogy is so key. If you don't listen to Bischoff, this is what you need to extrapolate. Okay? I'm telling you right here, as a writer myself, this is the key. What Bischoff lays out right here. And so when we say no story, and I've said it all the time, I say it a different way. On PWT, I say, yo, sickos, when we say no story, we don't mean literally no story, right? What we mean is like nothing of substance, nothing we can sink our teeth into, not even like following actual story structure. It's elementary at best. You know, that's the way I say it. He lays it out like this. Here's his perfect analogy.
Sometimes because it's easy to understand. Boy meets girl, boy gets girl. Boy loses girl, boy gets girl back. That's a story. It's not very compelling. Nobody cares. But if Shakespeare gets a hold of it, it's kind of like a version of Romeo and Juliet. So,
and just to add to what he's saying, it's like boy gets girl because this happens, you know, and you tell it like that. You have to have events, redemption, these sorts of things. We harp on it all the time. Everyone does. We just get called haters.
You'll hear the fan base say, "Oh, there's great stories. There's stories." Dave Meltzer says there's the problem with AEW is there's so many stories people can't keep up with them. I kid you not, he said that, and people take him seriously and send him money every month. What the hell? There's the stories, if there are any, are so bad that only the lowest form of wrestling intellect on the planet finds enjoyment in it.
Now, that's not true. You know, they did a study and Fox proved that 80% of SmackDown viewers are actually dumb fucks and are poor.
You will find some people, and I think this is cool. If you just like the physical,
are you guys watching AEW? Like they're doing a beatdown and they literally went off the air. Like it's glitching out and like the color bars are popping up like a tornado's ripping through town. So Bush League, man. And the Hurt Business are just beating up guys backstage. Okay, now it's back. And Adam Cole, was that intentional? Because that's terrible. If that was them purposefully doing that, horrible. If that's the television station being like, we need to jump off this cliff before this battle royal starts, then good on them.
Guys flying all over the place and doing all kinds of athletically amazing stuff. And you don't care about story, you don't care about characters. That's your jam. AEW is your jam. And if that's what you like, more power to you, man. I'm glad you found it. It's just not viable for the masses. It's, as Tony calls them, for the sickos. First of all, why would you want to call your fan base sickos? Because the majority of them would prefer not to be called that. Just to him.
What's wrong with being called a sicko?
Tony,
come on now, Eric. Tell us how you really feel at savewithconrad.com.
But Tony's vision for that company, I guess, is to provide content for that percentage of the audience that only cares about high risk, high altitude, fast paced action, and not about story and not about characters.
Eric Bischoff unalives Tony Khan and Meltzer within 2 minutes and 50 seconds. of facts. AEW Dynamite last week. It took like a week for the ratings to come out too. They were trying to bury this one. They did 536 with a 0.15 rating. Bischoff follows up and says, I honestly didn't think AEW would fall below 500K until this time next year. Apparently AEW is like a turd and that starts circling the drain slowly, then picks up speed as it heads to the sewer or septic tank, depending on where you live. Jesus, Eric's just going off, man.
Oh, come on now, Eric.
Here's the ratings. You know, I covered it with Rock and Ropes. If that was NXT, Meltzer would just go, but NXT's more people, so it balances out 19%, 0.21%, or whatever. So I covered it. Check out what I did with Rock and Ropes. Potential broken foot, speaking of Meltzer here. Juice Robinson and X-Rays, he had not had the results back as of yesterday, but he was fearing a broken foot. So Juice Robinson has a broken foot and he's been replaced by Commander by Tony Khan in the tournament.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
The C2 or whatever it's called. ShopAEW.com yesterday drops a shirt for Danhausen, which is pretty sweet, actually. This is actually a nice shirt for once, and of course it's Danhausen. But then John Draper quote tweets it and goes, why would you buy a t-shirt for a guy that isn't on TV and is never used by the company anymore? And just to add on to that, like has heat and Tony will bury and never put on TV again after everything that's transpired. So shout out Danhausen. But yeah, they put out a sweet shirt for him to try and milk some money off of him not being on TV or what? Like, just gooberness, man. Speaking of gooberness, right? Never forget the Bucks taking their lap. Never forget this as well, because we started getting rah-rah speeches from the likes of Dustin Rhodes. And I love Dustin Rhodes. You guys know that, but he gives the rah-rah speeches for AEW a lot. And we're going to cover that in just a second. But there was a few of them, you know, and also some of the AEW talent have been taking heat in the IWC for not, like, Ref MJ from NJ got called a hoe by Swerve today. This just happened, for pointing out how like no wrestlers have tweeted about the events. Like they don't post about the events. Like they don't have good marketing. There's no initiative. No one's on the same page. It seems like yada, yada, yada. So a bunch of people are like, God, we're so tired of hearing the criticism, blah, blah, blah. Why can't we just all enjoy wrestling? And just a reminder, right? The Bucks fighting Punk and kicking him out of the company and doing this after, you know, now Moxley's just saying the same Punk was saying and no one's getting in fights, right? After shelving Ricky Starks, after making shirts for guys who aren't in the company or not being used by the company. Remember all this too? Just enjoy wrestling. And Dustin Rhodes says it. He's like, I'm tired of the vitriol and hate towards AEW. Why is it there? Remember this bald asshole from Tony Khan. Making fun of how he had to get to have lunch with Dana White and tell him about WWE's misfortunes. Tony Khan saying, this week, 2 active decades-long rating streaks from 2 great legends were ended. With all due respect, until this week's head-to-head AEW on TBS versus WWE on USA, neither John Cena nor Undertaker had ever been on a WWE show with under 1 million total viewers, under 400K in the demo. So Tony taking shots at Senor Cena and the Undertaker, bro. Right? People don't talk about this enough. All right? Darby Allin versus Cora Jade in a skateboarding match. Remember when Cora Jade, and then even here, Tony Khan saying, you're a fraud, Ariel Helwani. You're as legitimate of a reporter as Shivani. So just Sean Shivani and trying to go at Helwani, who you begged for an interview. Also, Allin saying, skating is a huge part of my life, not a fake character for TV. And then Cora Jade responded and was like, I'm glad that not a fake part of my life is like being an abuser or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to get into all that shit, but yeah, she piped back, buried him. But you guys remember all this, right? Darby Allin also was like, to just tuck your tails like a bitch and just take it, about Kurt Angle's retirement match in WWE. Or maybe he was speaking in general, but it was the topic was like Sting and Kurt Angle in that. And to say, maybe not even Sting. It was for sure Kurt Angle, but, you know, Kurt Angle lost to Corbin in his last ever WWE match. And Darby's like, to tuck your tails like a bitch. Like, that's his verbatim words he used. Yeah, you say shit. You have Eddie Kingston, who's never been in WWE, who could never get in WWE. Never. Being like, and those guys over there, fuck those guys. We're over here now. So we were talking about Mercedes Moné earlier. Here is Jim Cornette's thoughts on Mercedes Moné and her little segment with Camille last week.
Mercedes did the scripted stuff, turned around and started to fire Camille. But Camille said, shut up, and got a huge pop. Everybody has been wanting this mush-mouthed imbecile to shut the up.
Cornette hit her with the
thank you, you buy, boom.
So Yuke's producer expresses uncertainty about sequel to AEW Fight Forever video game. AEW Fight Forever has been on the shelves for nearly 18 months at present. Blah, 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 blah. And we talked about it from day one. Again, it sucks. Why would you build it from the ground up? Why would you get them to reinvent the wheel? Why would you make the graphics look like this? Why would the roster be the roster that it is? Why would you have exploding whatever? People want simulation. Yes, people want arcade, but why didn't you just give M. Dickey $1 million? Just give him $1 million. He would have did it, probably. 2 million even. Would have saved you money still. And just have, if you want the arcadey feel, just have him do his Wrestling Empire game, make it all AEW focused and New Japan and all that, and just let him do it. He has it down. If you guys are unfamiliar, shout out M. Dickey. Check out Wrestling Empire video game. It's the best, highest rated wrestling game on Steam ever. You can download it for your phone. You can play it offline, and it is the best game, period, for like phone, tablet. It's on the Switch, I think. Right? So if you guys wanted the arcadey, fun, crazy, chaotic feel, make M. Dickey, just give him $1 million. He could have just slapped your over his game and then improved it with the money you gave him. But no, you built it from the ground up. You sink all this money into it. You trust people they like to play games, right? Doesn't mean they can make games, bro. It's the same thing with the wrestling, huh? It's people who love wrestling. Doesn't mean you should be booking wrestling, my guy. And shout out Ukes for just speaking the truth. So AEW Live Events put this out here. There's a special episode of Dynamite on 34th Street from New York, New York at the Manhattan Center on the 22nd. Dynamite 34th Street. So is there 2 Dynamites that week? Is Dynamite not on Wednesday? Why is it randomly on a Sunday? Chat, can you shed some light on this? I don't know anything about this, really. I don't know what or why. Are they just calling it a special Dynamite? Is it a house show? What is it? I have no clue. You guys let me know. But, yeah, they're doing the damn thing. Shout them out. They're trying to keep up with the hype of main event and all that. Talking about Adam Cole. Adam Cole admits he rejected a girl's advance in high school to watch WWE No Way Out.
You what?
2006. No, I'm just joking. I mean, yeah, in high school, everyone flubs up. Or like, I remember like you don't realize like a girl likes you too. That thing where it's awkward and you don't realize you're like rejecting her, and then her friend's like, she likes you, you idiot. And you're like, oh, that, I get it. And this guy was an Uber mark. Good for him. But yeah, I just got a laugh out of that. So I brought it to the show. I don't know. I wasn't ditching girls in high school to watch wrestling, but I would I was watching wrestling still, but if a girl was giving me any attention, I wasn't ditching that. I'll tell you that much. Tony Khan says, due to injury, Juice Robinson cannot complete the Continental Classic. Aiming to prove that he can hang with the world's very best, high-flying rising star Commander will join the field as Gold League first alternate. The upcoming schedule will be adjusted accordingly. So yeah, Commander is in there, and we got sickos talking like, oh, this is amazing, I can't wait, whatever. And it's like, bro, you don't care. And Meltzer called Commander a jobber. So you replace Juice with AEW's biggest stan, what he refers to as a jobber. So moving along here, Powerful King JJ says apparently All In Texas is currently set up for 24,000. The downsizing of Australia's stadium show, plus the downward spiral of attendance across the board, may have a ripple effect. Yeah, this Texas show is only set up for 24,000. I think there was an update on that as well. I think they're set up for even less than that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we'll keep eyes on that. You know, they got to continue to downsize. Tony Khan, don't forget this too when he tweeted this out. 2024 AEW is the next 2021 AEW. And boy, this has been their worst year ever. According to WrestleNomics, WrestleTix, WWE AEW attendance, tickets distributed. Look at this. Look at the Collision tanking. Boom. Look at the Dynamite tanking. Look at the WWE house shows going up and up and up. Look at SmackDown going through the roof. Look at Raw going down, trending down compared to SmackDown, but then now Raw's hot again. Netflix, it's going to skyrocket back up past SmackDown. Live shows will follow because they're a hot commodity. Main event will be right there in the middle too, if not even higher, because it's like a PLE sort of. It's like a special. Look at Collision. And then Rampage isn't even on here because it's just a part of these shows. But just Collision died. You know, they built a whole show around Punk. Same with Rampage. Punk's return to wrestling just died. It's not even a show anymore. Collision, done. Not even a show anymore. It won't be a show anymore. I don't think it will be for much longer, at least not after this TV deal. So Effy responds to Tony Khan. He talks to bodyslam.net. We've been covering this, right? Effy replaced Ricky Starks and all of that stuff, the GCW stuff with Cardona, because, Ricky Starks basically is just being shelved and warehoused by Tony Khan. And so Effy responds to basically the rumor, or what the rumor is, that Tony Khan was mad about, whatever. Obviously, it's not a rumor. It's the truth. He heard the Van Vliet interview with Ricky Starks. He saw Ricky Starks get that huge reception, cut that fiery-ass promo at GC Dub, and Tony's like, no, he's mine. So Tony McCon gets responded to by Effy, who says, the statement I made that seemingly was what pissed him off was about his dad paying him to stay away. And I think those words were appointed. And to clarify, I would like to say that I don't think that Tony Khan has ever been the best person that interviewed for a job, and that's why he got it. I think he's been given a lot of positions in companies his father owns. I think he's been given a lot of fluff PR positions. All facts. I do not think that he was ever the best technical person for any of the jobs that he has listed. I think the first time he ever actually did any real work was firing CM Punk. That's why it was so emotionally exhausting for him, and he feared for his life.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Yo, 100%. Effy cooked him there, and it's so true. And like, if you watch over on patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes, use promo code PWTXmas for 25% off. You can see when I watch along the NFL Game Day thing. Man, yeah. What he does with the Jaguars is he calls all the people who didn't get drafted, or like the 6th or 7th round guys who probably will just get cut or make a practice team, get traded, whatever. He contacts them, and he finds one of them a year, his averages. I'm not making this up. He goes, the average is about one a year that makes the team. So they hire one guy on the Jacksonville Jaguar every team every year, right? Because I guess the team technically different every year. Couple guys move around, whatever. But the team every year hires a new guy that Tony picks out of like the 10, and he just talks to all these guys, and he's like, yeah, I can't wait to meet up with you. It'll be great. And yeah, we got our eyes on you. It'll be awesome. One of these like 10 undrafted guys he reaches out to makes the team. And do they go on to win Super Bowls? And I don't know. Football fans, let me know. Tell me a Tony Khan guy who's done great in the NFL. Even one. You know what I mean? Because I think it's just like a pity hire. Well, we got to hire him because Shad's kid said to hire this guy. You know what I mean? So moving along here. Effy just baked him, roasted his ass. Okay. AEW Botches is back with another one. Okay. And AEW, a gift that keeps on giving. Here we go. Hopefully we don't get Don Stevens. If I got to clip this out, it'll be on Patreon as well.
Because it's time to acknowledge me.
Brock Lesnar, take a Canadian destroyer. Don't come in, Mom. Don't come in.
So, like, who are these dudes? Are these the Bear Country guys? And now they're like, hey, we're cool 80s zebra pattern guys like the Outrunners. No, that's already a thing. You guys were cool as like the Bear guys.
Touching yourself again?
What the is going on? Oh my God. Did this happen? Like, this is why I don't watch Collision anymore, man. It's just AEW Dark now. Look at what's going on, bro. This is another guy's gimmick. Like, I thought Garcia did this, man. I thought this was Mr. Ass's, Daddy Ass's gimmick. And people like to say, oh, some AEW defender, that account AEW defender, he's like, back to the kids table. It's like, no, man, the kids table is where the minority of people invited to a function get relegated to because they're not mature enough or developed enough to have nuanced and sophisticated conversations. And this is what we're talking about. You want to sit here and try and tell me this is oh, so many storylines. This is the mature whatever. And I'm okay with people goofing around in wrestling, but like sometimes, you know, you can't tell me this is like everyone's doing this. It feels like Max Caster came out and made Hunter Biden jokes, you know, and they're scissoring people. And I get it. The Acclaim's not with him there, but whatever. We've harped on this for years at this point.
Changing the Wi-Fi password.
Oh no!
Oh my God. Is that a real botch, guys? Here's the thing. You can't do all this extra. Now, if he really worked that, like that's a fake botch for the match, okay then, right? But if you're going to do all this humping and you're going to botch like that, dude.
Wi-Fi password.
Oh no! Wednesday nights I get to stay up late.
Was that a real botch or was that part of the match? Chat, let me know what you think.
Kenny Omega while I masturbate. Hey mom, I need to watch this show. Meltzer says I'm in the key demo. I am 39, I'm in the key.
No, that's a botch for sure, dude. Big time. Yeah, I don't know, man. Shout out All Elite Botches with another one. So Kota Ibushi, we talked about his ginormous eyeball of a staph infection popping up on his back, and he gives an update on his health and when he possibly could be returning to AEW via Tokyo Sports. He says, my legs are at their limit, and it could end at any time. So remember when he came into that AEW match and he's all up and hurt his foot and he's like, things were sharp or whatever, or I stepped on whatever. And I would just, no, he's washed his body up. This is what happens when you do what him and Omega and Ospreay and these guys do. Now, I'm not saying don't do it or don't do it from time to time or don't make a name doing that, then go and work where you don't have to do that. But now Kota's just going to keep bulking up. If your body's that deteriorated from slamming around, I'm not making us a whatever, but that means his brain's been rattled around a bunch too. And that deteriorates too, just like everything else. Right. And so I'm not going to sit here and do Joey Numbers' bit where restore the feeling in my arms, bruv, with Will Ospreay. That was the funniest ever during the War Games watch along. But and how much did Tony Khan sign this guy for? Millions or whatever. A hearty deal. He's wrestled twice for the companies in Japan with a huge staph infection. Just not taking care of himself, period. And other people. And at what point does this get dangerous where he hurts himself badly or he drops someone on their head or something? So shout out Ibushi. I was a huge fan back in the day. In his prime, he was one of the truly athletically one of the greatest talents in all of pro wrestling. I'd say history athletically for sure. I get it. He wrestled the doll and all of that. Yes. Listen to what I'm saying. The athletic and physicality of wrestling. One of the top dudes during the 2010s, early 2010s, mid 2010s for sure. This guy's washed and he's saying it. Okay. He's going, my legs are at their limit and it could end at any time. Like, so what? Like going to get the mail? Like making breakfast? Your legs will just go anytime, you know? And he goes, I wanted to keep going before. I can't do it anymore. I'm really at the limit. But I want to contribute to the world of professional wrestling before I end my career. So I'm currently appearing in various places. Well, just don't wrestle with staph infections then. Don't do that, bro. Jesus. AEW will be issuing visas again from next year, but I feel like the Japanese pro wrestling world is somehow declining. So I want to help lift it up. That's why I'm doing everything for this free time. So Tony will pay him. He'll stay in Japan. Pro wrestling in Japan is declining because Tony Khan ruined New Japan. It's just a fact. If WWE started mixing it up with New Japan, you'd see that skyrocket again. I don't know, man. Shout out to Ibushi. Hopefully he's healthy and good. That's all I'll say about that. Dustin Rhodes. So we talked about this before. He's urged fans to stop attacking AEW and just enjoy wrestling instead. Just enjoy wrestling, please. Stop the constant attacking and vitriol towards us. I'm going to cut the promo as Goldust. We have the most passionate wrestlers in the world. We do this for you. Hashtag I'm with AEW, and I love and watch all wrestling. Well, good for you. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. What does it all mean? Good for you. But no, I love Dustin, but like, yeah, we all do, bro. Right? It's okay to be critical if you love. I don't know. So, all in Texas, man. Let's take a look at it. WrestleTix. The setup's 15,000. So remember earlier I was like 25,000. No, it's a correction. 15,000 is the stadium show setup. Do you guys think they even do 20K? Orange Cassidy said that he said, I want AEW to be a place where there's room for passionate fans and casual viewers. He tells that to Fightful. So I respond to that tweet and I quote tweet it and I say, well, then Orange Cassidy can't be a top guy. It's as simple as that. He can't be in the main event. Casuals don't want to see Orange Cassidy in the main event. I'm sorry. They don't want to see these guys. I'm sorry if it hurts people's feelings. They just don't. So if Orange really wants that, then he has to go, hey guys, I want casuals to watch. I can't be in the main event. I got to be like our truth of our show. And like, we need to make a cruiserweight or an X division or something. So I can, then I can be taken more seriously when I fire up and stuff on these guys. So this Takeshita fan, Jonah, who's like a straight up, just a cultist. This has to be like a burner for someone in AW. And he goes, Orange Cassidy's the perfect wrestler for casuals. No, he's not, because otherwise, why aren't the casuals watching him? Like, this is the thing. He would be good for casuals if he was used correctly, right? But he's not the perfect wrestler for it because otherwise we'd have just seen it would have just flawlessly worked to where casuals were drawn to him. They weren't really. He was kind of hot at the beginning. We saw how he's booked with the creative behind him. We see him go 30-minute match. We don't want to see him do that. He's a comedy guy. He's our truth, bro. I'm sorry. Oh, that's stupid. That's for kids. Well, you're talking about casuals. Guess what kids qualify under, huh? Casuals. Oh, you guys didn't know that? Kids are casuals, They might not be able to stay up late enough to watch every Raw, right? They might not catch or retain everything. They're casual viewers, right? It's so stupid. They just don't understand these things. But this guy goes, fun gimmick that's appealing to almost everyone. Almost everyone, sure. I mean, yeah, sure. If you market it the right way. More kids, though. But y'all don't want to say kids because it's the adult blood and guts staple gun wrestling. So surprisingly good talker. No one wants to hear him talk. So right there, you don't get it. Casuals don't want to hear him talk at all. And when the bell rings, he's one of the best in the world. That is not true whatsoever. That's an objectively false statement. Unless you want to say one of the top 500 in the world. Okay, we could probably argue he's up there in the 500, right? But like if we're talking like even the top 100 wrestlers in the world, he's not even close, bro. Period. I don't even think if I laid out 100 names right now better than him, I bet you Takeshita fan would even agree with me. I could get to 100 before. And then at what point do we go, okay, not one of the best in the world. How many wrestlers are there in the world just in general? And like good ones at that, pro ones. I get indies pro wrestling, quote unquote, but it's still like amateur level. But I quote tweeted this and said, these people have no idea what casuals want. This is proof right here. Orange is why people are turning AEW off. Orange is perfect if he's presented as a less funny and cool R-Truth who competes seriously in a cruiserweight division. He's also 40. And that's how casuals see him. He's not like the cool, I'm too cool for school. That's not it, bro. He's 40, right? So we got to lean into that a little bit. We got to make it like, okay, lean into the I don't care thing. Do that for kids. That's for children. That's a 2-minute squash match against anyone serious or a 4-minute match. That's when the Hurricane gets a win on The Rock on a Raw and it progresses a story while shocks everyone because like that doesn't happen all the time. That's what Cassidy is. Hurricane, but like a little below that. Right? Perfect for kids. Was the Hurricane? Oh, Hurricane could wrestle Rob Van Dam. Yeah, for sure. But primarily, what was he used as? That's what we want to see with Orange Cassidy. Just a fun. We don't want to see him bleeding. I'm going to fight for everyone's rights in AEW Moxley. Like, no, that's not your job, Anyways, I've harped on that enough. Awful wrestling. Post this picture. This picture says everything about the ego, about Tony Khan's ego. And it's so true. Remember the first, this was the core AEW crew. And that's why they were so mad at Punk for smacking the city. And that's why this idiot Jack Perry thinks he can get away with everything in the world. He's just real tight with them, But yeah, the picture does speak 1,000 words. This as well. So John Draper quote tweeted and said, "Can anyone confirm if this is real? This can't be real." And so there's a Collision coming up, or a Dynamite rather, in Tennessee. And there's not even 700 tickets distributed. Now, it is a month away, over a month away, right? And when they do the little deals, the dipsy doos, but it's only set up for 2,000. So even if they only do 2,000, that's humiliating. And also, they'll be lucky if they even do 1,000 people at this rate, you know, unless they do some crazy deals and Tony flips a couple ticks or whatever. Stressful stuff. So Ricochet admits this about Samantha Irvin. He says, I want to say like last year's WrestleMania, maybe Samantha was like, this is the pinnacle, I'm done. Which fair enough. But the pinnacle of like, man, there's people who put like 20 years into wrestling, my girl, you know? I love Samantha, but she's not relevant anymore at all after this. And that's not a shot at her. Like, hey, go sing. No one's going to give a bro unless you're in the wrestling business, I'm telling you. And that's not a knock on her. It's just that's such a seedy ass. Look at how Swerve's music is doing. Not a knock on him. I love Top Rope, Catch a Vibe. I love all that. Look at the views on that, man. That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, go ahead, Samantha. Go make your music. Do it. That industry sucks. I'm pretty sure she already knows that from doing America's Got Talent. Like, it's really what's different between you and other women already in the industry, unless you're willing to do some like fucking satanic, the Black Elegant, the Illuminati, you know, like unless you're willing to do like go single, right? Like in the music industry, there's really like, what are you gonna do there? You know, I guess tour around, whatever. You know, unless she comes back to wrestling, she's just like irrelevant. What is she ever gonna do that peaks like she just said at Mania? And I don't think that was her peak. I think there were many more great moments for Samantha down the line in WWE, but also someone posted was like, do you think she made the right move? And like, that's up to her. It's not up to us to say, oh, it was wrong for her. And maybe she doesn't give a fuck about being relevant or whatever I'm saying. Maybe she's like, man, you, I don't care. Good on her too. Only she can tell us what'll make her happy and what's the right move for her. That's on her, bro. Some people give up everything and just want a little shack out in the woods to be left alone. That's on them as well. But on Barstool Wrestling, shout them out. Ricochet goes on to say, I think that's when she kind of started it. But I will say, I think maybe me leaving was kind of just the straw. I don't think it was her main reason, but I do think it didn't help. And that's what I told you guys, man. And I hate to say I told you so, but I also love to say I told you so. I don't know. They went on this campaign. Ricochet leaving, it had nothing to do with that. No, it was obviously that. Obviously, you're talking about making money and blah. Like, where can she go be? Maybe a valet and a GM and a ring announcer and a singer and a whatever. AEW, bro. It's obviously going to happen. And shout her out. Go get Tony's money. But it'll just be a sad day in hell when she's in an empty building doing a ring. I don't think she'll go back to ring announcing for AEW. I don't think she'll do that. I think we could see her in like a Brandy Rhodes type scenario, though, where the fans start turning on Ricochet because they're like, okay, she's just your valet, you know? Or maybe the sickos bring her in. Who knows? Who knows? AEW Collision and Rampage. Shout out Raj Giri and Matt Morgan and the Gigantic Pop. Raj Giri posts, Collision and Rampage last Saturday outside of their regular time slots both garnered their lowest audience in 18 to 49 demo rating ever, including preemptions. Collision averaged 144K viewers with an 03 demo. So what does Meltzer got to say about the demo? And then Rampage averaged 126 viewers and scored an 03 in the demo. This is outside of their regular time slots. You know what I mean? So they're in their regular time slots. They got the lowest in history currently. Okay.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and break down all the numbers and all that, but where's Meltzer with the key demo talk and all of that? And these shows are cooked. They might as well get rid of Collision too. And WBD's desperate and they peel off the top, and that's the only reason they got this deal. And I don't give nobody's got to say. I'm telling y'all it's what it is. I've been right before. It wouldn't be the first time. So Ref MJ from NJ, who's a hoe? So literally watch this video here and I'll pause it. We'll EFAP it. And MJ from NJ posts like another video saying, this is what Tony Khan renegotiated and paid Swerve big money for. How many times can you retweet and promote a music video, but fail to promote the All in Texas on sale? So like Swerve's been promoting his music video for like a goddamn year. Now Becca and Steph DeLander hey, I play their song on this show all the time. I never get a copyright strike for it. They're fine. They understand. If I played Swerve's song on here and tried to get it over with people and get it views, I'd get Don Stevens, man. That's the thing with AEW. They're so mad at anyone being critical that even the shit I want to put over, I can't show you and put it over, or you get pulled down for this. Either way, just pointing out, like, dude, Swerve's still pushing this song. Like, okay, it's kind of ran its course, bro. Just being honest, right? And I like the song, even the remix. Like, it's okay. It ran its thing. MJ from NJ says, rather, has been pointing out recently, very critical of the AEW talent on X, saying, like, hey, why is no one posting about Texas when they're struggling to sell tickets? Why is no one helping with the Grand Slam? Why does the promotion suck all around? Why does it seem no one's on the same page? Why is everyone so scared of Twitter? That sort of thing. And then Swerve responds to this video and goes, for your hoe ass. And then tags 2 days ago, he posted the All in Texas and then blocked Ref MJ from NJ, man. So I don't know. Again, just calling MJ from NJ, who's ultra critical, comes with straight facts and graphs and like does extraordinary detective work. So they can't really respond with anything. But for your hoe ass, proved him wrong, and then Swerve blocks him. So it's like, how's he supposed to respond and go, hey, my bad? Or maybe there's a rebuttal there. I don't know. I don't give a fuck if they tweet out the show or not. I don't expect them to. It's a show in AEW. And it's also up to promoters to promote, right? But I get the point, though. Like, man, this guy's sharing his music video more than the Texas thing. And I'm sure MJ's rebuttal would be, well, yeah, but where I'm just talking, like, you shared the song how many times compared to this when, like, you just got signed to this huge deal. You're more interested in your song than the whole company. Maybe that's what MJ's getting at. I don't know. I'm not insinuating that. I'm just psychoanalyzing it. However, it's funny. He just calls him a hoe and then blocks him for your hoe ass. And it's like, Swerve, I put him over before. And I've said this before too. Like, every time I put something over in AEW or something over, like, about someone in AEW or whatever, my foot goes in my mouth, because whoever I say something good about or whatever I say good, it blows up in my face. And I said recently, maybe a month ago, like, Swerve's good at letting roll off his back on social media. But then it's like, oh, god damn. And we're seeing the rah speeches from Dustin, and it's like, not again. So speaking of which, MJ, I hope I didn't just butcher that. I'm also like half watching Dynamite over my shoulder here, but I hope I did a good job breaking it down. Here is MJ right here saying, Swerve posted all those music videos, so retweet and buried the promo post. More than Tony buried his title reign. He also had me blocked before replying. Oh no!
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Oh no! So MJ, he unblocked you, called you a hoe, and then yeeted out of there. That's, oh dude, that's so disappointing. So guys, just to clarify, MJ's here live in the flesh, right? And he's saying the dude had him blocked. Swerve had him blocked, unblocked to be like, you hoe, and then blocked again. Damn, man. Damn, that just kind of breaks my heart too. Like, if he has you blocked, that's his prerogative. I'm sure you'll agree with that too, MJ, right? I'm sure you use your block and mute button, but it's like the fact that he had to pull we know what he pulled, right? The sappy poo. He had to pull the kitten. So is that a vanity search? Is that a tag? Is that you did tag him? You don't back down. You tag these people. I get awful in my DMs giving me like, dude, use the hashtags. And I'm like, I'm bad at social media.